Welcome to Truckee Talks. I'm Maya Schneider. The phone call every parent dreads, no parent ever wants to hear, is the phone call from the hospital or from the police department that their child has been injured or worse, killed in a car accident. Every year this happens, and there are ways to prevent it. Luckily, on today's show, we'll be talking about a program that's put on at our local high school that helps kids learn about the dangers of drinking and driving and why they should be staying away from those activities when they put them in combination. It's my great pleasure to introduce Melinda Maehler, Melinda from Placer County Sheriff's Office, and John Satler from the California Highway Patrol.
Good evening.
It's a pleasure to have both of you on the show, thank you for coming. Melinda, I'm going to start with you. Death Every 15 Minutes is the name of the program?
The name was derived by through the program being taught to juniors and seniors during the end of their school year when students will partake in alcohol-related events. And so what we try to do is put the information out to them so that they can make better choices.
And how long has this been going on in our area? How many years have you run the program?
We put this program on 2 years ago at both North Tahoe High School and Truckee High School.
And what's your participation been, John?
My function is to coordinate the actual accident scene, making sure that the scene is set up properly and the children are positioned properly, and then the emergency vehicles responding into it. The other agencies, which are it's a combination of Placer County Sheriffs and Nevada County Sheriffs, and then the medical personnel getting on scene in time.
And now for people that haven't seen this before, aren't familiar with it, what actually takes place is that you set up what looks like a very realistic accident scene at the high school.
Correct.
You have a crashed car.
Correct.
And bloodied bodies, and it's actually quite morbid, but quite breathtaking.
Realistic, yes.
Very realistic.
It's choreographed over, we usually take about 8 to 10 months for the team to develop the actual scene itself, to bring on fire department, emergency services, both sheriff's departments and California Highway Patrol. And what we do is each step is laid out. For example, we always need to have the drunken driver so that they can be arrested on scene so the children can see what that process is. Then we have an actual student that is pronounced dead at the scene, and they will go be picked up by the mortuary and then go through that whole area and come back and tell the students about the mortuary. Then we have a student that is life flighted to the hospital, and they will come back and tell the students about everything they experienced in the emergency room.
So the event that takes place actually at the school is really only a small portion of all of the activities that go on.
Correct.
How are parents involved in all of this?
About a month before the event starts, we will bring all the parents together and allow them to view a videotape from the prior Death Every 15 Minutes. We'll go through each step with them so that they're comfortable and understand what their role is going to be, both at their job when the sheriff's department comes to tell them their child has been killed in a DUI collision, and then at home that evening with their family and their smaller children so that they can go through this smoothly. Then once we do that, that evening the parents will take over and guide their family through what they are going through, missing the child that has been drawn out as a DUI driver or an individual that's been killed by a DUI driver.
How many students are involved overall?
Actually, this year we're changing it. 2 years ago it was 20 students. We're now pulling out 40 students. 20 of those students will be picked to die due to a DUI collision. The other 20 won't die because somebody made a good choice and did not get behind the wheel.
Interesting. And those other 20 get to go on and lead their lives, and there's a 20 that's left behind. There's, correct me if I'm making this up, but I seem to recall a letter written to the parents. Tell us about that.
What happens is at the end of the day we bring the students together, and North Star has been wonderful to put them, both feed them and put them up for the evening. The officers who are on the team work together with the students very closely to both help each other in understanding where the students are coming from when they go to a party and what their peer pressure is, and then from our end of it, how we feel seeing somebody die at in a collision. We get together, and then later on the children write notes to their parents, and the letters always start, I'm sorry to have to write this letter to you, I died today in a DUI collision. And then they go through and put their own feelings to their parents and how it makes them feel.
You know, just sitting here listening to you, I'm getting goosebumps, and I can't imagine what it's like to go through the real practice of it. John, why is this important? Why do kids need to go through this exercise?
Well, it's important to show the students when they make that wrong choice, if they do make that wrong choice of drinking and driving, what the consequences would actually be, because it is so realistic that this would be the ultimate if they chose that drinking and driving that night.
That's the ultimate price
Yes.
you can pay. What kind of numbers do we see across California for teenage drunken driving associated deaths?
Well, in our area, this general area right here, we had last year we had 12 fatality accidents, 5 more drunk driving related. We arrested 460 drunk drivers last year.
Wow.
And we had 70 total DUI accidents.
And do you know how many of those were teen related?
No, I don't have any idea on that.
Anytime you can stop them ahead
Right.
of time, you've nipped it in the bud, and that's a good thing. Melinda, there's so much else that goes involved. There's a memorial service after the event. What is that?
What actually happens is the first day, we start at 6 o'clock in the morning, the team meets, and then we break off. One team will be doing the accident scene. One team will be working on just the students that are being brought in to make sure they're comfortable and they understand what's going on. Makeup is going on to all the children to portray the image that they have passed away. And then we have the team that gets ready for the afternoon. The Grim Reaper goes into a classroom every 15 minutes to represent a DUI-related fatality that goes on over a 24-hour period. That child is then brought back to the command center where they are only allowed to talk to the team or other students that have passed away. They stay there for the whole day, and then what we do is we take them to the retreat, and just the team of officers and the children meet for the evening, and we go over ideas, like I've told you before, that help them and they help us so we can be a team together. And then the next morning, they get up, they have breakfast, thanks to North Star again, and we bring them back to the school where we have a school-wide assembly. They have a coffin that is brought in. They are shown a 14-minute videotape that was actually done by the students at this school and at North Tahoe. And we have guest speakers. We have a couple of parents and a couple of students that get up and speak, and the assembly is about an hour.
And when will this be happening this year?
Here at Truckee High, it'll be the 25th and the 26th of May, which is a Thursday, Friday, and at North Tahoe, it'll be the 4th and 5th, which is a Thursday, Friday in May.
You know, John, Melinda mentioned a lot of different agencies that are involved with this, the fire, both sheriff's departments from Placer and Nevada County, CHP. How do you organize and orchestrate all of these various agencies?
Several meetings, and just good cooperation from all those agencies. And then we also have our helicopter involved in it. And so it just takes perseverance.
And your helicopter actually lands at the high school and is part of the...
Yes, it'll land. Well, last year it didn't get or 2 years ago it didn't get to land because of wind shears, but this year we're hoping that it will land right there on the soccer field out here.
We don't get weather in Truckee.
No, no.
So is that where it all takes place, is out on the soccer fields?
The accident takes
accident.
place right there near the soccer
So
field.
that's where you set it all up.
Well, the accident will be on the road that runs alongside the soccer field, but the actual landing of the helicopter will be in the soccer field.
What kind of feedback do you get from students who have participated in this?
Well, I've been watching the statistics. Right now we have a 2% fail rate at both high schools that were involved in this program 2 years ago. And now we're getting children that are stopping us in the hallway. They know something's going on. Please, please, I want to be a part of the program. So it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. The children want to be involved. They want to be able to help us go through the process. So I'm really impressed.
And yet I'll imagine that all of these kids who think it's going to be a day of frolic come away from it pretty somber.
Yes, yes, they do.
What about parents that wanted to participate in this, that may be watching this program before the program actually happens at the high school? Is there a way for parents to get more information or to be involved in this?
They can call both the California Highway Patrol and get a hold of John Satler, or they can call myself at Placer County Sheriff's Department.
And CHP is 587-3518?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and Placer County Sheriff's Office
It's
is?
581-6300.
Okay. When we come back in the second half, we're going to be speaking again with a parent of a student that went through this a couple of years ago, and I know from my experience having a different CHP officer make a presentation, there wasn't a dry eye in the crowd. I think it's an amazing program that you put together, and I commend you and all of the other agencies that put this together. So good luck this year, and thank you. We'll be back in just a moment with more Truckee Talk, so stay tuned. Welcome back to Truckee Talks. The topic for today's show is Death Every 15 Minutes, a program put on here at the high schools. Right now, we'll run to a video. Stay tuned. I can get up there to dance. Oh my God, look at that.
I laced the track, you locked the flow. So far from hanging on the block of dough. Notorious, they got to know that life ain't always what it seemed to be. Words can't express what you mean to me. Even though you're gone, we still a team. Through your family, I'll fulfill your dreams. In the future, can't wait to see if you open up the gates for me. Reminisce sometime, the night they took my friend. Try to black it out, but it plays again. When it's real, feeling's hard to conceal. Can't imagine all the pain I feel. Give anything to hear half your breath. I know you're still living your life after death.
Every move I make, every single day, every time I pray, I'll be missing you. Thinking of the day when you went away. What a life to take, what a bond to break, I'll be missing you.
It's kinda hard with you not around. Know you in heaven smiling down, watching us while we pray for you. Every day we pray for you, till the day we meet again. In my heart is where I keep you, friend. Memories give me the strength I need to proceed, strength I need to believe. My thoughts big, I just can't define. Wish I could turn back the hands of time. Us in the six, shop for new clothes and kicks. You and me taking flicks, making hits, stages they receive you on. Still can't believe you're gone. Give anything to hear half your breath. I know you're still living your life after death.
I take, every move I make.
Leg. Left? Right. His left leg.
Let's get his Moses, let's get his chest. I'm a little worried.
You ready for EKG? Full extremities? Yeah, we can do an EKG. I'm just going to get him hooked up here. And, I'm sorry, we don't have to for him. We're obligated to leave some of these.
Enter all this information into a computer system.
Well, those very powerful scenes that you were just watching were from a video made 2 years ago at the Death Every 15 Minutes presentation at the high school. And I need a minute to catch my breath after watching those scenes. Welcome back to Truckee Talks. We are talking about Death Every 15 Minutes, and I would like to introduce a special guest to this segment of the show, Tom Archer. Tom Archer, local attorney, also a local parent. And Tom, you were involved in that 2 years ago.
Yes, I was.
Tell us about that.
I think the thing that impressed me the most was, although we were given some anticipation about what was involved, we were pre-instructed of who we'd be contacted by, what to expect. That introduction probably never really could get you up to the level of impact that you really feel when you start to partake in it. Seeing your son, Spencer in this case, I didn't see him taken from the vehicle, but I was contacted first by CHP, who came to my office, and I knew that they'd come. And I certainly felt that this is something that's not a big deal to be involved with or to play along with, so to speak. But then going from that point and being taken to the hospital, being contacted by a chaplain, seeing your son in a emergency critical care condition, being contacted by the chaplain, and then being told that your son has passed away, it does have an amazing impact.
Yeah, you can't even express that feeling, I'm sure.
No, it's amazing.
Watching this film, just with you next to me, I just wanted to reach out. It's okay.
Well, it was okay. I was able to cheat because my son was able to leave a little bit early on the second day, and he had a baseball game, so I did get him back sooner.
I bet you were glad to see him.
Yeah, I was. It was pretty impressive of how impacting it is.
Yeah.
Plus knowing the number of kids that are involved in that program, in the school. For instance, you saw Rhodey, Dustin.
Yes.
All those kids are very supportive, so any injury or impact to those kids is amazing.
It's felt all throughout the school.
Throughout the school, and I think throughout the community.
Absolutely. I would definitely agree with that. How did he react after the presentation, after his participation?
I think it was really positive for him. I think Spencer said to me that probably the most impacting moment was when he was in the vehicle. They had it covered with a visqueen or tarp before the rest of the student body was brought on. And he was there for about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. At least that's what it seemed to him. And he was made up with, of course, injuries and bleeding, lacerations, and he had to spend a little time there alone in that vehicle, in this wreck. And I think that impacted him very much, so that I think it gave him an awareness that he had not had before.
Tom, thank you for being on the show. We'll get back to you with some more questions. I would also like to introduce our other guest, Captain Kent Hawthorne from Placer County Sheriff. It's nice to have you on the show, Kent.
Thank you. Nice to be
Thank
here.
you for being here. And of course, we're welcoming Melinda back from the
you.
first half, because you did such a great job, and it's just great to have you back on the second
Okay,
half.
I trust you.
Captain Hawthorne, let's talk with you for a few minutes about how this whole program works in terms of education, prevention, enforcement. What is your role in this, and why and how?
Well, in a drunk driving, once you get into the enforcement mode, it's too late. The crime has already happened. Someone's already been hurt. So what we're striving for is education to get the kids to know exactly what some of the consequences are, and the prevention element of giving them a significant emotional event. We know that it takes a significant emotional event to change a person's patterns or their habits. And this program, I think, gives them that significant emotional event without them actually having to go through the loss of a friend or the loss of a life. And we hope that it's a real eye-opener for them, that what decisions they make have consequences not only for them, but for their parents and their friends and the rest of the community.
I think the letter writing that Melinda spoke of in the first segment certainly helps in that educational process. I would think the parents learn something from this as well. It's not just restricted to teen education.
Oh, I think so, and it's an opportunity for the parents and the kids to actually have an open, frank discussion about expectations, about making sure they make a decision not only for themselves not to drink and drive, but if they're at a party and their ride home has been drinking, not to get in the car with someone who has been drinking and is going to drive.
Melinda, I know there's a lot of interaction and interfacing with the school and the sheriff's office, and the same is true also for Nevada County. I should mention that Captain Jacobson was unable to be on the show today, but was invited to be here, so we're asking you to speak on behalf of both counties.
Oh boy.
That won't be the first time it's happened. But how does that work, your interaction with the schools?
At first, the officers are scared to cross that boundary, to go into the schools, and once the day progresses, they see that they're needed to help the children go through this emotional time, and so they tend to forget about that barrier between the teenagers and the officers, which works really well. Then in turn, the children also see that we're human beings as far as parents, and this is a job that we do love, but we're there to teach them something, as my captain said before. It is an incident that happens to them, so it's a teaching experience for both sides.
And another way, too, for the students to learn who the law enforcement officers are in their community.
Correct.
And for you to reach out more and find your constituents, if you will. Your customers, I guess. Melinda, what is the ABC grant we talked about prior to the show, the GALE grant?
The GALE grant, it's a grant assistance program for local law enforcement, and this will be the second year we've applied for it. We did not get it last year, but we are unique in this area in applying for this grant, because other areas it's one law enforcement agency. We have Placer County, Nevada County, and California Highway Patrol applying for this grant all together as a team.
I'll bet that gives you some extra points on the application process.
We hope.
It's a true regional effort. You know, anyone who's lived here for a while knows that the Tahoe Truckee region is truly a region, and we have more in common with each other than we do with our counterparts on the other side of the mountain. So it gives us an opportunity for all three of the agencies to work together for the local population.
Yeah, that's great. That is great. I have some statistics here. I'm looking at my cheat sheets here, and I see on my statistics that in 1998 there were 10 deaths related to DUI, driving under the influence collisions, and 0 homicides.
That's true.
10 preventable deaths.
The most significant threat to public safety up here is the impaired driver. You're not going to be injured in a drive-by shooting or gang-related problems like that in other places. Here, the impaired driver is our #1 threat to public safety.
And catching that at an early age. But we know that kids are going to drink. I don't know that it would. I think it would be naive to assume that we could stop that from happening. I'm sorry, Kent, go ahead.
Certainly, abstinence would be the best course, but
Yes.
to expect that would be unrealistic. But we do want the kids to know that drinking doesn't mean drinking and driving.
Right.
So,
A critical piece of information when you're impaired and you're operating a 2-ton glass and steel on wheels machine, it's a lethal weapon.
yes, it is.
Tom, how many children do you have?
I have one, Spencer.
Spencer is your only child.
That's correct. And Elizabeth, my wife, has 2 boys that we have a combined family. All of the boys are now approaching or over 21 years of age, and fortunately have come through those critical periods of the teenager and in high school without problems, and we're very thankful for that. But the program, to me, has been about choices, and kids making correct choices and thinking about what they're going to do in their decision-making process and what responsibilities and what impacts they're going to accept for their choices. And that's part of what at least I had an opportunity to emphasize with Spencer and have some feedback from him. So in the end, it became a very, very positive experience for them as well as for myself.
At the risk of soapboxing, choices are what we're doing all the rest of our lives, and if we're learning at an early age to make proper choices and to make choices that won't hurt other people, we're on the right track, or at least getting there.
It's too easy for young people not to look forward to see what the consequences are. And I think this program was very good for helping bring that very forcefully to the kids.
Make it very real. Make it very real. We just have a couple of minutes to wrap up, and I would just like to give you an opportunity to put an advertisement out there. Do you need volunteers? Do you need donations? Are there things that people can be doing to support this, or are there ways that people can participate that maybe they don't know about?
No?
We always need volunteers. We can always find a place for a volunteer that wants to be involved in a program as big as this program is. And right now I'm very thankful. We're only $800 short of making our final goal of $4,000 to be able to pay for both high schools. It pays for the children's t-shirts and food and the overnight stay, and so we're very close to that, so donations are always needed too.
Okay, so we'll take that little plug to remind you that there are donation potential opportunities here and also volunteer opportunities. Contact the California Highway Patrol, contact Placer County Sheriff's Department, Nevada County Sheriff's Department. They will direct you to the right place for that. This, I try not to hog too much of the camera time, but this has been an amazing program. I mentioned to Melinda earlier that when I saw a presentation on this at a Rotary meeting, there wasn't a dry eye in the audience.
It's the most powerful presentation of this kind that I've seen in 25 years of law enforcement. It's just a phenomenal program. Everyone who's there, either directly involved or just watching, walks away with a different attitude, I think.
Well, I say good for you. And congratulations and thank you to all of the volunteers, all of the organizations and groups that put this together. It's a big service to the community, a big service to the kids, to give them a life to look forward to and not cut it short or cut it off. So thank you very much, Tom. Thank you for being on the show. Melinda, Kent, thank you for being on the show. Again, if you need more information on the Death Every 15 Minutes program, you can contact Nevada County Sheriff's Office, Placer County Sheriff's Office, California CHP. Thank you for joining us on Truckee Talks, and we'll see you next time. And don't drink and drive.